Hi, my name is Garan and I'm in grade 10 at West Humber CI, and I will be making a video to raise awareness about anxiety, more specifically the topic of panic attacks. I hope you enjoy. Alright, so let's start off with the basics. What is anxiety? So anxiety is your body's natural reaction to stress. Normally, almost everyone can experience this. This is a normal feeling for many people when they feel fear in like what's about to happen. So this could be for many reasons. Maybe they're in a high stress situation that they've not been through before, so it's like new to their body, so they're really worried about it. If these feelings are extreme or they last for a really long amount of time, you may have what's called an anxiety disorder. So what an anxiety disorder is the feeling of being anxious. It's with you all the time, or like for a majority of the time whenever you're awake. In extreme cases, it can even stop you from doing things like leaving your house, crossing the road, presenting a PowerPoint, or entering an elevator. If this is left untreated or undiagnosed, the anxiety can get even worse and you may feel worse. So now that we know the basics about anxiety, now let's discuss the two types of attacks that you can experience. So an anxiety attack is an intense or extended period of anxiety. It's more severe than the regular feeling of anxiety, but it's less severe than a panic attack. It can last anywhere from minutes to hours to even days and even weeks in really extreme cases. You may experience an anxiety attack before having a panic attack. Some symptoms of an anxiety attack are restlessness, feeling wound up or on edge, being easily fatigued, having difficulty concentrating, irritability, muscle tension, difficulty controlling your worries, and sleep problems. These are all extremely common when you're having an anxiety attack. Alright, so the second type of attack that we're going to be focusing more on today is a panic attack. So what a panic attack is a sudden episode of intense fear that triggers severe physical reactions when there's no real danger or apparent cause of this. You may experience an anxiety attack before you have a panic attack, as I said before. Panic attacks come completely randomly. They can sometimes come because of genetics, or they can be caused because of major stresses built up in your body. Some research actually suggests that your body's natural fight or flight reaction is a panic attack, as the symptoms are the same, but scientists aren't sure why you would feel that worried when there's nothing to worry about in case of a panic attack. There are a couple of ways to spot a panic attack. Some of these are fear of loss of control or death, rapid pounding heart rate, trembling, shortness of breath or tightness in your throat, abdominal cramps, chest pain, dizziness, lightheadedness, numbness, or a feeling of unreality or detachment. If you experience these, then you may be going through a panic attack. Or if you see someone else that's like, they look like they're trembling, their heart rate's really high, they're having trouble focus, they might also be experiencing a panic attack. Panic attacks aren't only caused by anxiety though, they're actually fairly common, and having one does not mean that you have a panic disorder or anxiety. For example, if you're feeling extremely stressed or you're doing a lot of exercise lately, then you actually might have a panic attack because of that. Although they aren't usually fatal or anything like that, they can be an extremely upsetting feeling, as it's just like the feeling of restlessness and like hopelessness. So if you see anyone experiencing these or you're experiencing it yourself, you should try out some of these methods to help them or yourself get through it. Alright, so a couple of ways if you are having a panic attack. You can use breathing techniques such as breathing deeply, as this can help relax your heart rate. You have to acknowledge that you're having a panic attack, as if you just try to play it off as, oh, I'm fine, it could actually make the panic worse. You can try to close your eyes so you're not really overstimulating your senses, because you're already freaking out, so you wouldn't want to have to focus on anything else. You can focus in on one object and try to like detect everything about that object, so it kind of distracts your brain on like what's going on. You can use various muscle relaxation techniques. These are known to help as they relax your physical body, which in turn kind of like soothes your mind a little bit. Or you can just picture your happy place. You can picture where you're happy the most, and hopefully that will calm you down. Mostly though, panic attacks do go away in about 10 to 30. They start at like 10 minutes and their peak is usually at 30 minutes, but they can last for a long amount of time past this. The most important thing to remember though is that panic attacks are temporary. You have to acknowledge you're having a panic attack and that it's okay. Don't try to say, oh, I'm not having a panic attack, I'm completely fine. Just acknowledge it and know that you're having a panic attack, and you will be fine later. So if you spot someone else having a panic attack because you see they're experiencing some of the symptoms that were talked about before, like they're fidgety or they're seem like they're freaking out or they're having shortness of breath, you can do some things that to help calm them down, and there's some things that you should not do at all. So for the do's, you should remind them that they don't have to stay where they are. They can walk around. You don't want to make them feel more trapped than they already feel. You have to remind them that there's nothing to be afraid of and it's only temporary. This feeling will pass. Remind them to breathe, as stated before, as breathing can calm down your heart rate. You can try to have an engaging conversation with them, but don't act as if they're stupid and be like, hey, look over here or anything. Just try to find something they love and try to talk about that, and that'll slowly, gradually help them calm down. Most of all, make sure you stay with them. Do not leave. Do not be like, oh, I'm gonna go get help or something, because this can even increase the fear that they're already experiencing. For the don'ts, don't let denial fool you. Some people are having a panic attack and they'll just be like, no, I'm completely fine or anything. But once you leave, it could make it worse. Don't tell them just, oh, why don't you just calm down? Because it's not always as simple as that. And if the person thinks that you're thinking that they're just overreacting, it could cause them to even panic even more. Don't ask why they're having a panic attack, as usually they don't even know themselves. Don't brush it off as, oh, they have a panic attack every week. It's nothing new to them. Panic attacks, they feel like you're experiencing one every single time you have it. And don't seem annoyed or judgmental or like, ugh, another panic attack. That's obviously gonna make them more panicky. Overall, just try to relax them. Don't try to stimulate them. Don't be mean to them. Just try to make them feel at peace. That's the best way to do it. Alright, so I covered a fair bit of information, but there's still a lot more to learn. If you would like to learn more about this topic, or maybe send these links to someone to help them out, they're all right here. There's some links you can go to get more information, and there's also more in the description below. This video was pretty short, but overall I hope you learned a bit more about panic attacks, what they are, how they happen, and how you can stop them. This is not a concise do or don't video. This is just some general tips and tricks to go by, as these days a lot of people have anxiety, so panic attacks could be extremely common, especially within the high school environment. You should always try to calm people down, and just remember, if you're having a panic attack, it is temporary and you will be okay. Thank you for listening to this video, and I really hope it helps you. Have a great day.